Hey yogis, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about pigeon pose or sleeping pigeon pose. Now this is a hip opener and it increases circulation in the hips and groin area, and for some it can actually help with the release of negative emotions. Alright, so I'm going to be using different props just to show you different ways to come into the pose, but I'll begin with the traditional way. Now in some of your classes you may begin in a three-leg dog to come into this pose, which is fine, but you can definitely come into the pose other ways, such as tabletop. All right, so whichever way you decide. Start with three-leg dog, draw, bring your leg up. When you're bringing your leg up to come into the pose, you are actually going to be rotating from the hip area. All right, so it's not rotating from the knee, even though it may seem that way. You're actually rotating from the hip to bring that leg forward. I'm going to start with my left leg so that you can see some things. Okay, so bringing my left knee up behind my left wrist, and I'm going to be kind of squaring my hips, or basically I want to make sure that my hips are both facing the top of the mat evenly. All right, now you can't see this from here, and I'm going to turn around to show you what I'm talking about. But I do have a gap here in between my hip and the floor. So one thing that you can do, you have either a block, because usually I use blocks, but I'm going to be using those for something else today. So I'm going to be using a folded blanket and place it up under my hip. And this kind of closes this kind of brings the floor up to me. And once you find a comfortable way for you to come into the pose, then you may decide that you will just use a block under your hip as well. It just depends. Okay, so from here, let's talk about this left leg. All right, now my left foot is kind of in, as you notice, kind of back towards my groins area. All right, and this is perfectly fine right here. Now, depending on your flexibility, your body type, you know, how tight you are today, you may be able to bring your shin up so that it's closer towards being parallel to the top of the mat. And if your body can come into that, then that's fine as well. The important part is to be gentle with your body and not to force it, okay? Okay, so once you're all squared off, if you need a prop under your hip, place it there. From here, you can inhale and exhale to come down to your elbows. But other options, you could also use blocks here. Stay propped up on your blocks if that feels better, or even bring your elbows down to the blocks. All right, now another option, which I'll turn the other way this time, is to use a bolster, or you could always use an alternative. But from here, let's say from tabletop, from coming into the pose, coming up, the same way, bringing my knee, but this time I'm on the right side, so my right knee's behind my right wrist, still squaring my hips, but bringing my hips down to the bolster. And you can also use the blocks here under your arms, you know, under your elbows or under your palms for support if you like. So whatever works the best for you here. Come out. I kind of like to roll over onto my hip to come out, but it depends on what the next pose in the sequence is. All right, so those were some options, some variations of pigeon that you can take. Kind of find the one that feels the best for you. I hope that this tutorial has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching.